These days, people use AWS Lambda functions, and we have Azure functions also, and there are Azure Logic apps also. Developers often get confused whether to use normal Azure functions or AWS Lambda functions, or whether to use Azure Logic apps. The difference is of platform basically, and I would like to extend this question to a lot bigger one, which is when to use middleware in fact, and why maybe all the big organizations like banks or all other big organizations, why they are having a middleware software in between that is doing all the integrations. What is the value added? Because these are expensive software. So basically, these softwares, what they do is they standardize your integration. In fact, they have a lot of adapters, there are a lot of connectors in them with many integrations already present in them. So you leverage them. So the first of all, the value added by these tools, like for example, BizTalk and Azure Logic apps. If you go to the site, there are a number of connectors listed in there in the site with most of the SaaS applications that you can think of, like LinkedIn, YouTube, Slack, or Jira, for example, or any most of the SaaS cloud application that you can think of. There already is an Azure Logic App connector already there. Similarly, with BizTalk, it comes with a host integration server, which can integrate with most of the IBM applications, and their adapters available for the mainframe computers also. And even if you have to develop one, you will be developing adapter for the BizTalk, so that you will be doing the integration in a one standard way. And besides that, when you talk about a bank or any big organization, which things or the transactions will happen in a very orchestrated way, many different departments are in parallel or in are working in close collaboration with each other. They are doing development, so they need to have a central body. You may call it an enterprise service bus, which facilitates the communication between the services, talking in terms of very technical details, or you may call it a central software like a any middleware software. So there are many flavor, there are many different products for the middleware, like TIPCO having one, and then you have MuleSoft also. You have one from Informatica also, and this Microsoft BizTalk is quite legacy product. It's coming from the version 2000, and now it have evolved into Azure Logic apps. There is an on-prem version still there, BizTalk 2020, and both can, by the way, integrate also. So the one on the BizTalk on-prem is there to help you integrate all the on-prem software, and by using and leveraging the adapter between the BizTalk on-prem to your cloud Azure Logic apps, you can have the best of the both worlds. So with Azure Logic apps, maybe you want to do something automated way with any SaaS application that is already there. Just imagine you want to do a blog post on LinkedIn, and you want to just leverage the connector. You do not want to do all the development right away, because it might take a lot of time. So basically, the first thing that these tools help you is to, cut short on your development time. You really do not have to invest a lot of hours in development or starting something from the scratch that is something standard or is already there as a connector for you present there. So this is one of the benefit, which is an enormous benefit. So sometime in order to achieve or have a competitive advantage, you already have a connector there or the BizTalk adapter there to leverage. So this is one of the big benefits. Second is standardized way of different applications to talk to each other. So you deploy basically enterprise service bus in between, and then it have got all the messaging robust mechanisms through which XML messages can pass through, may talk to different services. So you can also as well have a hub and spoke architecture, where the central BizTalk server or the farm or the group can be processing those messages, or you may have a ESB also. Both flavors are possible. BizTalk can give you the ESB toolkit, which you can use. So basically, it's about leveraging a big ecosystem of the BizTalk, where you have number of adopters that are already coming in with it, or you can have a lot of other adopters that people are working on as a community. And as I said, when you integrate it with the Azure Logic apps, you open the world to number of applications that are already there. So this is shortly a brief architecture of it. It's very flexible. You have listening ports, and then you have sending ports, and in between of that you are doing transformation. You want to do normal accessibility transformation, that is right away possible. So all scenarios of automation and doing that in a scalable way is very possible, and this is backed by Microsoft robust architecture and built on top of .NET basically. So you get all the flexibility there. Plus, when you do it using the ESB toolkit, it doesn't really have to be a single hub and spoke architecture. There may be two services that are talking to each other, and other services might not be knowing it, or no central body in that case. So it's the flow is a bit different when you have the ESB toolkit involved in the chain. And then, as I said, if I give you just a quick view of uh, the list of Logic App connectors. So I just want to give you a quick rundown on what's the possibility there. If you see, almost all applications that are there on the cloud as a SaaS service, there is a connector available. Mostly all of the Google applications, from Google Mail to all of the Google other services, as well as other different SaaS services like Bing, or for example LinkedIn, or for example Slack. I mean, most of the application that you have there. So let's suppose you want to do something, some automation quickly. So you want to do, there's a connector for, let's say, MS Teams. Also, you want to drop some message to MS Teams, or you want to do some, machine learning on the chat messages that are already there on MS Teams. So you just quickly use a connector to grab those messages and send them to another microservices which is doing the machine learning for you. So the development that takes ages or number of hours, BizTalk and these tools make them possible right away as a competitive advantage to any large organizations. And basically, all the big banks, their core banking system is comprised of such bus basically, because it's very robust, it's very flexible. It gives you enormous flexibility in terms of operations also. So they do not just integrate applications right away, they have a middleware involved. So every bank basically works like that. So this is a quick introduction, and this is how the value of these middleware products comes in. They are all expensive products, but they have a value, and how they make up the value, I think you got some picture here.